Hey, my name is Jonathan Helm, and in this video, I'm going to introduce the concept of a function in R. So in the last YouTube video, we just started talking about how to create objects in R. And we use some of the objects that were here. We have A is equal to 5, B is equal to 4, capital A is equal to 10, and so on, right? So we have all these objects that we can use, and we can then manipulate them using some functions. Right, so another type of object that we can create is called a vector. And a vector is just a series of numbers. Okay, so let's say I create a new object called A, and I assign a vector, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So I have the little letter C here. I have open paren, close paren, and then inside is a series of numbers separated by commas. And if I highlight all of this code and I run it, right, now A has a new definition. A is still an object, but now it equals a series of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so A is a vector of vectors, right? It's not just a scalar, it's not just one number, it's actually a series of numbers. Now, if we're thinking about data and psychology and where this might relate to us kind of more practically, you can think of A as like a variable, right? Maybe A refers to the age of a bunch of participants that are in your study. Maybe A refers to, like extroversion, openness to experience, conscientiousness, self-esteem, right? Any variable that you can think of. And we'll get there, right? We don't actually have a data set into R yet. We'll get there in just a few YouTube videos, right? We can imagine that we have these vectors of numbers, these series of numbers, and these could be considered variables. Now, of course, if you have a vector and multiple numbers, you might want to manipulate that vector, right? You might want to calculate the mean. You might want to calculate the standard deviation. If you have two vectors, you might want to calculate a correlation, right, between two variables. So with all this in mind, we can think about vectors and objects, right, as containing data that's of meaning or of use to us as researchers. And then what we'd like to do is manipulate that, right? The point of these statistical analyses is to do meaningful manipulations of those data, right? And we perform those manipulations using functions in R. Okay, so now that I have A, maybe I want to do something like calculate the mean of A, right? So I actually have a built-in function, right? So the standard function that comes with R after you download it for the first time is just the function called mean, right? So mean, open paren, close paren, and I can type the letter A, right, which is now my object, right? And you can see that right off the bat, right, the mean, open paren, close paren, it's a function. Okay, so functions always take this form. It begins with a word, right? In this case, it's a mean is the word. Then it's followed by an open paren. It ends with a close paren. And inside, right, inside the parens are objects. Sometimes they're referred to as arguments, okay? And these objects are the things that will be manipulated by the function, okay? So I have the object A. I'd like to manipulate it by calculating the mean. And if I highlight this and run it, right, I get back the answer of 3. Okay, so I get back the mean of that vector, which is 3. And of course, we can verify this, right? So if I just do 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and I divide by the number of elements in that vector, which is 5. If I highlight and run this, right, I also will get back 3. Okay, so we're starting to see how R really operates, right? We have objects, which could be our data, that can be our variables, and then we have functions, right? Maybe we'll have a function that calculates a t-test. Maybe we'll have a function that performs a regression. Maybe we'll have a function that performs an ANOVA, right? What we'll do is we'll get our data, and then we'll use functions to perform those analyses that we're interested in, right? But at its core, R really just has objects, and it has functions, okay? Thank you for watching this YouTube video. If you liked it, please like it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below the video, or you can also email me directly at jonathanleehelm@gmail.com. And again, thank you so much for watching this video.